I always just wanted to make sure I had something that I owned and that I could pass on to my kids.
Благослови моих братьев, благослови наши руки. Мы в поисках больших денег, мы в деле круглые сутки. Благослови
Out radio show, man, they everywhere.
Благослови моих братьев, благослови моих братьев, благослови наши руки. Мы в поисках больших денег, мы в деле круглые сутки. Благослови моих братьев, благослови моих братьев. Я скрутил себе потолще, я выдыхаю с
best jam I have ever eaten.
Oh, wow.
I have that as a testimonial.
И не играй со мной свою роль. Со мной молодые братья. Мы возьмем котлеты наличных себе на завтрак. Сегодня, завтра, неважно как я. You, эй, yeah. Благослови моих братьев, благослови наши руки, мы в поисках.
Hey, y'all, we're tuned in for another episode of Bake That Radio Show. I am your host, Andreas, and I have via Zoom coming from. Are you located in Nashville right now?
Nashville, Tennessee, yes.
We got a couple things in common. We have a CEO, author, and a lot of other things. I was sitting here looking at your bio, Miss Autumn Prather, who is the co-founder and CEO of Mother and Daughter Experience, which is a 501c3. Also went down here and I saw that. So, do you have a speaking firm as well?
I do.
Okay. Oh, so that's the Speak Legacy. Is that the name of the firm, Speak Legacy?
Yes.
Okay, and also you're a alumni of Tennessee State University.
Go Tigers.
So, the things that we have in common. I'm originally from Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm down here in Macon, Georgia, which is an hour and a half south of Atlanta. I went to HBCU as well, down here in Georgia, Fort Valley State University.
Mm-hmm.
My degree in business. I think yours is in business as well, right?
Business administration. Yes, sir.
Yeah, same. I have the same degree. So look at that. We got three things in common.
Wow, look at that.
We both got a business degrees. So I hit you up because I wanted to talk about, like, you know what I'm saying, your experience at HBCU and how that like shaped you going forward, going into your career that you have had. So let's start there. Why did you elect to one more thing. Where did you go to high school at?
Whites Creek.
Oh my goodness. I graduated from Whites Creek as well.
What?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm for real. I was at Pearl-Cohn for my freshman and sophomore year, and then I transferred to Whites Creek for my junior and senior and graduated from there.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So much in common. That's awesome.
So why did you elect to go to HBCU, in particular Tennessee State?
Wow. Well, great question starting out the gate. I must say that I did not apply to any other college or university. My mother was an HBCU grad, a Tennessee State University grad. And so that's all I knew. As you know, the community is well integrated within the college life of an HBCU. And so when I was growing up, attending the football games, homecoming, the parade, seeing the majorettes, the cheerleaders, it was just all mesmerizing to me. And so that's all I knew. And knowing that my mother actually graduated from the same institution was just the icing on the cake to carry out that legacy. And that, because that's one of my core values, is legacy. So Tennessee State was it. It wasn't any question. It wasn't any hesitation. I applied. I got the scholarship and I finished in 4 years.
That's what's up. Yeah. The reason I did not go to any school in Nashville. I was playing on TSU's campus while I was in Rice Creek. So I get out there, did just, go over there and, play at TSU, and then, sometimes go over there to Fisk and play up there, whatever. So I knew too many people, and I felt like, what I'm saying, if I stayed in Nashville, I probably wouldn't have graduated college. Probably would have just went and just like, well, okay, blah, blah, blah. So I chose to go to Fort Valley and go to a whole new state, wanted just a new experience. But I still wanted to support HBCU and like, give back to the community. And like you said, we went to 2 different HBCUs, but I can tell that our experiences were the same as far as like the community, like you said, taking in and being accepting of the college students and like really nurturing them, watching over them.
Exactly.
Like, I never went hungry when I was
yeah.
Like, I was always in somebody's house eating. All I had to do is just say, yeah, I'm a student over at Fort Valley. Oh, come on, baby. You know what I'm saying? You hungry and blah, blah, blah. You need anything? So the communities wherever HBCUs are really does take in kids, and it defines it too, because like I did a study on one of my studies for when I took strategic management. We had a group project. It was HBCUs versus historically white colleges and universities, and looking at the operating budget of those versus their counterparts and seeing how they're not funded, the vast disparity of that. It was just amazing to know that, HBCUs are still kicking and thriving in some regards. And I think the last study I saw was where they like HBCUs account for, I think, 30-something% of all PhDs within the African American community. And, really embracing, it's like an extended family.
Absolutely.
And have been able to put out like a lot of different CEOs and stuff of that nature, but they don't get the recognition or notoriety and the talent when it comes to certain sports and stuff like that. I mean, they were dominating football in the 70s and I think all the way to the 80s and stuff, as far as those alumni going into the NFL and doing their thing. So as you had your experience and it nurtured and stuff like that, what inspired you to like really jump into the world of like, finance and investing and all that, but then also your own endeavors of being, a CEO and author?
Yeah. Interestingly, I was acclimated to Tennessee State at a very young age. I actually started out in their early learning center, preschool. My parents put me in there at 4 years old. So I was already on the campus as a baby. And then when I got to middle school, I had the opportunity to be in their early engineering summer academy. And so I spent Saturday mornings on campus as, an 11 and 12-year-old learning about engineering. And then I was involved in inroads in high school, and we met on the campus of Tennessee State University. So just any involvement, community involvement, or organizations that I was involved in, we often met on that campus. And so I was acclimated to the world of business and engineering and math. I think we call it STEM now, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math. I was acclimated to that early on as a young person. And so that's kind of all of that I knew as well. And I was taught that, that was a great field to kind of go into as an African-American woman, to even look at the entrepreneurial side. So that was embedded in me, and when I got to Tennessee State, I actually started out in accounting as my major. Well, there's a story there. I ended up pledging a sorority my junior year in college, and accounting grade kind of was not the best. So I decided I'd drop that major and pick up business administration instead. So yeah, I mean, business was all that was embedded in me to go and pursue. And so I did that. And you know, unlike a lot of my peers, I secured a job right out of college. Like I graduated May 1997. I started working for a large insurance company June 1997. So I went right from college into the workforce using my degree. And I've been doing that for the past 25, 26 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accounting.
Yeah, accounting was tough. Accounting was really tough.
Accounting, I didn't like any of that. I got it. I get it though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even with like my businesses, stuff like that. I'm like the numbers person, which I don't really care to be. But you know, I can go just put hire a full-time accountant or whatever. I was like,
yeah, and of course with technology now, they got the QuickBooks and they got a lot of other tools that help us with that now. So it's easier now to navigate.
So when did you decide to form the mother and daughter experience, and then also become an author? When was those ideas embedded?
Yeah. So again, using my business acumen, I've always dreamed of having something of my own, whether it was nonprofit, you know, for profit. I always just wanted to make sure I had something that I owned and that I could pass on to my kids. And so back in 2019, I was recovering from a major surgery that unfortunately had a lot of complications. And so my recovery period was sort of extended I actually had the surgery in 2018, but I was still recovering in 2019. And so had a lot of time on my hands to think. And with that type of surgery and the complications I had a lot of time to sit around and figure out, hey, what is life going to look like for me post, you know, this traumatic experience? I kind of saw my life flash before my eyes. And I was in a state of, wow, what am I going to do now? You know, I have this kind of new lease on life. I have the second chance to really make a difference. What's going to be my legacy? And so during my recovery and thinking a lot, I said, wow, I think I want to do something that culminates my relationship with my daughter. My mother, who passed away, it'll be 14 years in April, major influence. We've talked about her already, how she influenced me to go to Tennessee State, and she was just this beloved person in the community and always giving and always providing for others. And I thought, you know, I want to carry that on as well. And somehow I want to honor her and her legacy. And so I started to just kind of brainstorm and write down some things that were near and dear to my heart. And the mother and daughter relationship definitely was. And I wanted to take what I was given from my mother and pass that on to my daughter. And so once she becomes of age and has her own family, she can pass those same gems down to her daughter if she has one, and so forth and so on. And so I ended up calling my daughter one day and saying, hey, I think I got an idea on how we can start a business together. I know it was something that me and my mother talked about doing, but we never got a chance. And so I figured this is the best time to do it. Do it now. Do it scared. And my daughter was on board, and we just started thinking about what we wanted to, what our mission would be, what our vision is. And so we tossed around many different names, but we landed on MADE, MADE, Mother and Daughter Experience. And our mission simply is to promote the sacred bond of the mother and daughter relationship, and to be a positive influence in the lives of women and girls, and to encourage them to mend those broken relationships, and to continue to foster those so that generations are healthy. I think mothers are our first role models as far as little girls are concerned. And we can really change the world if we get our young ladies to a spot and a place that they're respectful, that they're respected, and that they're respectable. And so that's what we do. And so we've been going strong for 5 years. We just celebrated our 5th anniversary in January of 2023. And we have an annual mother-daughter gala that we put on every year in August. And so we're in the planning stages of that as we speak. So during the pandemic, at the height of the pandemic, actually in October of 2020, a publisher contacted me and said, "Hey, I see your platform on social media. You talk a lot about mothers and daughters. You have your nonprofit going. You're giving good advice to these women out here. Have you ever thought about writing a book?" And I said, "Absolutely not." No. No, I don't have a desire to write a book, but tell me more. What are you thinking here? And he was like, "Yeah, you have a book in you. You have something to say to women, especially mothers. So why don't we talk, and I'll get you all of the tools and resources necessary to start writing your book." And I thought, well, you know what? We're not doing anything. We're stuck at home, right? We can't go anywhere. We're working from home. I'm sitting in front of this computer all day anyway. Why not use my time productively and begin to write this book? And so Preparing a Fruitful Harvest, One Mother's Pursuit of Generational Health is all about my journey in raising my daughter. It's all about researching pregnancy, as a single mother, trying to make sure I gave her the best start of life. And then through motherhood, through marriage, through divorce, mental health issues, self-care issues, women's empowerment, breaking generational curses. All those things are in this book. It's just from my own personal experience and perspective. So I hope I answered both of your questions.
No, you did. And I love the fact that you're long-winded with them too. No. I said I love that because I've interviewed a lot of people, and some people are just so short with it.
Yeah. Well, it's my life's purpose. It's my passion. They say if you can talk about something for 10 minutes straight, that's your passion. And I'll probably talk about it for an hour. So
that's a great thing though, because people can receive that passion. So as you're doing like the nonprofit and putting out the book, what is the response from your network and the community at large?
Yeah, it's been interesting. When we put out the nonprofit, when we started promoting, the sacred, championing the sacred bond of the mother and daughter relationship, instead of getting those women who had the same type of relationship that I had with my mom, which was positive, I got the reverse. I got the complete opposite. I got, wow, me and my mother were never close. Or, wow, I wish I had that relationship with my daughter. We don't talk. We're estranged. We have wounds that need to be healed. And I was taken aback because I'm thinking, have I lived in a bubble all this time? Like I thought everybody's relationship with their mom was good, and I'm like, ooh, am I stepping on some toes? Am I offending people with my mission here? And I'm glad to say that a lot of people have returned, and said, hey, because of you, I've taken steps to mend that relationship with my mother or my daughter. And the way we promote our annual mother-daughter event is that we tell them this is a mother-daughter date. If you've not had quality time with your mom or daughter, use this day as that stepping stone. Come to our event, fellowship. We have good food, we have fun, we have good speakers who are going to come and impart wisdom and give their expertise on how to mend and maintain those relationships. And so we say, come on out, make today the first day that you get that relationship back on track. And so that was eye-opening. The fact that, I was kind of in the minority with the type of relationship that I had with my own mom.
So when you put out the book, because the book is out, correct?
Oh yeah, the book was published. So we started writing October 2020. The book was published Mother's Day weekend, May of 2021.
Oh, wow.
Right. So we're coming up on 2 years that the book has been out. Yeah.
How's that response been with the community and your network? And, because, I've spoken to a lot of different artists, authors, sorry, not the artists too, but with the authors, I imagine, well, you had a publisher, so your situation is a little different. Most of the people I've spoken with, they were self-published as opposed to being thought out. So I'm like, you have some resources at your disposal that most people do not. But overall, what was the reception with people like, oh, okay, wrote a book and then like, let me support, or, oh, okay, she wrote a book, Bubba, let me go on about my day.
Yeah. Well, I had a goal that I would pre-sale a certain amount of books before it was, printed and published. And I met the goal.
Okay.
So a lot of people, when they have a publisher, and like you said, we had access to resources and tools and strategies to help us do that. When you invest in writing a book, you can really make that money back with the pre-sales, right? And so it was a win-win for me and my publisher to do that. And so the book was very well received. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just for mothers with daughters. It's really mothers with children. All right, it's redundant. I get it. It's, any mother can read this book and take something away, because the way we raise our kids is universal, right? I'm going to give the same tools I give to my daughter as I give to my son. It just so happens that my daughter and I share, more of a uniqueness because she was my firstborn and I was a single mother when I had her. So we have a little bit more of a story. But yeah, I mean, the book was very well received. I still go on, I call them little book tours where, pop-up shops or vendor expos, and I'll go and take the book and sell to those audiences as well. So very well received.
Okay. So now that you've gotten through that experience and been a published author, do you think there might be more works of you writing in the future, or what are you leaning towards doing now? Because I'm like, you're doing a lot, because which is great.
It's a lot. Yeah.
You're doing all these different classes and stuff like that. You're advocating and being out there in the community as an advocate for all the different issues that we experience within our communities. And you're author. I'm like, you're still, a parent. So.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. And a lot of people ask me, how do I do it? And I don't really have any hard and fast answers other than prayer and my calendar that's up here on my wall. I write everything in it, so I don't know where I'm supposed to be and when. But I feel like there's at least one more book in me. of course, my publisher is asking me about it. But I'm pursuing other endeavors in the meantime. But I'm always in research mode. So any thoughts or experiences that I have for this next book, I'm writing them down, just so I'll be prepared when I'm ready to start really tackling it. But I think, I'm thinking my next book is going to be more of, it's not going to necessarily center on mothers and daughters, but more so me as a woman, and what I've experienced with marriage and divorce and all of those types of things.
Okay. Do you see yourself as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I consider myself a social entrepreneur, though.
Okay.
Which is a tad different than your normal entrepreneur. I'm extremely community driven. I'm a humanitarian at heart. So a lot of the work that I do is in that vein. And so socially and civically, that's where I land. And so that's why I called it a social entrepreneur.
Okay. So then how do you deal with the speed bumps or the pitfalls that come along with that? Because sometimes, in raising funds and stuff. Oh boy.
I was just going to say.
To see the connection.
People don't want to separate from their money. You have to be strategic. You have to be creative. You have to really give the value of what you're doing. They have to see that. They have to believe in that. They have to partner with you on that. That's the bottom line. If they can't see the value in what you're doing, you're not going to raise any funds. And it's tough because, it's just hard to ask for people to separate from their money. But when you're 501c3, like we are, it's a benefit. You get a tax advantage when you support a 501c3 organization. And so, again, strategy and communication and all of that goes a long way. We're doing that as we speak. Coming up on our 5th mother-daughter event this August, we're soliciting sponsors right now, to help us underwrite the cost of this event. And of course, all proceeds that we make go back into our scholarship fund, which I neglected to mention earlier when I talked about the nonprofit. Because my mother, and as I mentioned, she passed 14 years ago. She was a dance instructor with Metro Parks and Recreation, and beloved dance instructor. She taught tap dance, she taught preschool rhythms, and she taught senior citizens dance. And so our scholarship is in her honor. And during our mother and daughter events, the funds that we raise or the proceeds that we have, we give back to local dance studios so that they can continue teaching their young people how to dance.
That's what's up. See, these stuff like that needs to be put out there more. That's why I created this platform for like artists, but then I transformed it into just anyone in the community, especially within our community, doing great things like that. And to help highlight that and give it more notoriety and recognition, because I already know how the news operates.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's not something, saying clickbait worthy or whatever, they're not reporting on it. And then even when they do report on stuff like that, they'll give it like, 30 seconds or whatever. And it's after the event, not the build up before.
Right. Yeah. And so I appreciate you. I really do, because again, I love to talk about it. It's what's needed in our community, I believe. And it's, what I'm learning is that, it's not sexy, right? It's not something that
But no stretch of the imagination, is it?
it's not something that is at the top of people's
Uh-huh.
to-do list or talk about list, because it's not really sexy. It's sacred. And it's about the heart, and it's about giving back, but my goal is to make it sexy, to be honest, because I want everybody talking about it, right? I want it be on the top of everybody's mind. So I really appreciate you allowing me to talk about this today.
Oh, like I said, that's like I reached out. I can't even remember which Facebook group it was where I saw like you had posted something, and because I'm in so many of them, and I was trying to remember. But I like I said, when I saw the TSU, okay, HBCU, you're in Nashville. I'm already connected to the city because I was born there and lived there until I went to college, and then the fact that I saw you had posted, it was about your community and civic duties that you're doing. I love highlighting stuff like that when I get the chance to, because like I said, it needs that attention. So for everybody out there who's going to catch this interview, and if they want to go and buy the book, if they want to donate to the organization, if they just want to learn more, where would you like them to be directed to?
All righty, let's see. Let's see. Connect with me on Instagram, Facebook. I can be found at Autumn Prather on both. The Mother and Daughter Experience on both. My website is www.themotheranddaughterexperience.com. Yeah, and so those are the best ways to connect with me. Right now, if you go on Eventbrite, that's where I'm housing our sponsorship opportunity for our 5th annual Mother-Daughter Gala. You should be able to find us there, the Mother and Daughter Experience. And we have different levels of sponsorship that you can look at. Very affordable, very straightforward.
Okay, that is what's up. Well, ma'am, I appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing your story. And I'm definitely, I'm going to send it. So when I put it out, I'm definitely going to tag or send it to people's inbox, especially up there that I know, since I'm like, that is my hometown or whatever. Most of them following on Facebook anyway. So,
yes, thank you.
I want to help get the word out. And I look forward to following up sometime and, hearing about what y'all doing and, how are y'all able to grow it and, continue to make an impact into the community.
Absolutely. I am available anytime you want to talk.
Appreciate it, ma'am. And I'll let you get back to it.
Я скрутился себе потом, я выдыхаю.
The best jam I have ever eaten.
Oh, wow.
I have that as a testimonial.